Well, hi everyone, and it's now time to deep dive or have a look at my chess boxing bout. And I'm well. Can I say this? I think I can say this, Gavin. I actually shouldn't, but I'm the heavyweight chess boxing champion. You know that sounds really
That is
weird.
right. Yeah, no, that's correct. Yeah, British heavyweight champion, Simon. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And we're going to have a look at the chess and at the boxing in a minute. But I'm privileged to be joined by the governor of is that the right word? Governor of the chess
Love
boxing
it. Yeah.
nation. So Gavin, yeah, tell us who you are.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, so I work as part of a community, a chess boxing community, mostly based in London, but obviously we have partners all over the world, and you'll see in our events we had people from Germany and Lithuania in our event over the summer, and yeah, it falls to me to produce the chess boxing events. So I've produced about 13 or 14 events. This is the first time we've done one in rural Norfolk as part of a chess boxing festival. And it was my privilege to match the fighters, including Simon. And I was able to go on at least some of the journey with Simon, seeing how he developed over time in the lead up to the show. And yeah, I thought it was an incredible show. Each fight was more entertaining than the last. And of course, Simon's bout at the end was, I hope no one else, none of the other fighters mind me saying, was the most entertaining bout of the whole night. So, thank you, Simon.
Well, thank you, Gavin. And I suggested that very shortly we will show the actual chess and the fighting. Well, they're both fighting. Before I press play, and we're basically going to talk you through at home things as it happens. Do you want to just tell us, Gavin, what the rules are for chess boxing, in case anyone out there wants to take it up? Get in contact with Chess Boxing Nation. But for this particular fight, it was I'll let you tell the rules, the timing and stuff like that.
Yeah, so obviously, chess boxing is a biathlon. It's two combined sports. You always start with chess. You play speed chess. It's on a clock. Typically, we have 4 minutes of chess, and then you have 2 or 3 minutes of boxing, and you interchange between chess and boxing. The number of rounds is determined by time control on your chess clock, and you have a transition of about a minute whilst we remove all the equipment or put the equipment back into the ring between rounds. Although they seem to be quite disparate in terms of the two sports, they're very similar. They're both very strategic. We follow Box England rules, amateur rules, and we use FIDE rules for the chess. But the key thing to understand is it's very hard to play chess and gets consistently harder as the boxing rounds progress. Because boxing is incredibly technical, but also very, very tiring. And as I think you'll see today, as you progress through the rounds of boxing, it takes its toll, and you'll find that the best chess players, and of course Simon is one of those, will make mistakes and errors that perhaps they wouldn't do under normal circumstances. I'm sure you'll agree, Simon, it's one of the hardest environments to play chess under.
Yeah. I mean, I've played in some weird environments before, but not in a boxing ring. So it certainly is. And I suggest we start the video now. I mean, we can talk our way through it. And obviously, this event was held on in Norfolk on a farm. It was a really interesting venue. But there was some, because of the World Cup, not World Cup, the European Club football, the England match shown before. There was some time constraint. So the time limit was sort of limited a little bit, but it was very exciting. So let's start the video, and well, we're straight in with the chess. And the first thing I have to say, Gavin, is I was very, very nervous. One of the most nervous I've ever been when I've played a game of chess. It's more the build up. For the whole event is crazy, because you've got everyone there. You've got to prepare yourself mentally for the chess, physically, and as we're going to see when the boxing started, I just forgot everything, Gavin. Absolutely everything. But to show the chess as we're going, we start off with a French defense here. So You know,
Were you expecting that from Matt Coldwell? Were you expecting that kind of opening from him?
I was, yeah, because he had a fight before against David Germany where I saw he played the advanced French variation, but you can see on the board already here a position that's quite unique, and this is something I've never faced before. Matt has allowed me to take the pawn in the centre of the board, so I've got these two black pawns on the pawn up, but I have to be a bit careful because Matt is castled, my king is stuck in the centre, and if I don't play this accurately, you know, Matt could build up quite a big attack. Having white gives you the initiative. So I was moving quite slowly here, which wasn't part of my plan because obviously my advantage is in the chess, not the boxing. And I wanted to keep a nice time advantage, but I also didn't want to lose quickly, Gavin, in the chess because that would frankly be quite embarrassing, right? So...
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be interested to know. You talked about the nerves you had going into it. How did it once you actually started playing chess? Did those calm, or were you still quite nervous through that?
When I started playing chess, generally, because I've had so much experience playing chess at various levels throughout my life, I can kind of get into a bit of a zone and I can sort of block everything out and just focus on the chess. And around about here, I actually felt fairly comfortable. I'm moving quickly. I might look relaxed. I'm still not feeling relaxed. I just want to make that clear. But I am feeling quite good here and I'm feeling quite sharp. Matt's playing good moves though. He's bringing his pieces out aggressively with intent. I still have to watch out for, after his last move, the bishop coming out, that he might take my knight. His queen might come in with a check. His rook is in a good place. So my first aim here, Gavin, is really just to get castled and try to get safe. But I felt reasonably comfortable at this moment in time. But the noise as well, we've taken out the noise, but the noise of the crowd is phenomenal. I wish they had this in chess events, Gavin. You could actually hear the crowd. It would be, I think, a brilliant idea.
It's strange, isn't it? Because the crowd, you think the crowd would be very noisy in the boxing and then quiet in the chess. It's not the case at all there. The crowd is generally a chess crowd, and they just take upon themselves to make as much noise as possible and chanting people's names. And there's a few sort of regular chants, and the chess is as raucous, if not more, than the boxing.
That's
How did you find it to concentrate with the music in your ears?
well, actually, the only thing I can remember I found quite funny is when the music changed. It was a good choice of music. So the music is playing in our ears as you watch this, so we can't hear the crowd or anyone shout. But what I found interesting is that my opponent, Matt, when the music changed or he liked a song, you might see this occasionally, he started bobbing his head. And I thought, bloody hell, you're a bit confident. You seem relaxed, be a bit more nervous. But he was bobbing along to the music. And it's a nice touch because obviously you can't hear the crowd, but you're very aware of them being around you in some respect as well. But here we are, Gavin. So this is what happens now.
So now obviously we've come to the end of the first chess round, and we take out all the equipment. You guys put your gloves on, and then we see you. Yeah, we see you start your first boxing round, and this is the first boxing round is always interesting. A couple of reasons is one is you're feeling each other out. I mean it does happen, but generally even the most confident fighter will want to see what his opponent's got before he opens himself up or commits himself too much. But also particularly in this event and with yourself, we had a lot of people fighting for the first time, and we did discuss this briefly. It can be very frustrating because if it's your first time, you get overwhelmed in the moment, and you spent months training and trying to get this quite difficult technique down, and it can kind of throw you off completely, and you revert to your sort of fight or flight mode, and suddenly you realize you're in a fight and you're fighting for your life, and all of that technique and all of that shadow boxing, that time you put in, can you can get lost, and you lose that, and it's quite hard to bring that back. How did you find that for the first time, Simon?
Yeah, I mean, I basically around this moment, my brain's a bit gone. I'll be totally honest. I kind of forgot. I did a lot of training for the fight, and I just kind of forgot everything. Everything went into a bit slow motion. So obviously in boxing, your reactions have to be point on point, and everything was just a bit slow. I wasn't doing the things of training, like slipping, like punching. Basically, my punches didn't have much venom in them at many moments, and what Matt did extremely well, he's obviously a very good amateur boxer, was keep the pressure on me. He didn't let me settle. I kind of needed 30, 45 seconds to settle into the whole thing, I think, but he keeps the pressure on. He didn't fight at range. He kept coming at me, which was a very good tactic, pressure fighter, and it was hard to adapt to that. I unfortunately broke my nose about 4 weeks before this fight, so I didn't have as much sparring experience as maybe I'd like to coming up to it, even though I had got a lot. But in general, my fighting was not as good as it should have been by any means, but it was quite an experience.
I mean, it's very rare that any fighter will go through a round a bout of boxing and be completely pleased with what he's achieved. But I did wonder if you were, because obviously Matt has got a reach advantage on you, whether it was a tactic, whether you were trying to draw him in, so allowing him to punch your guard, because there was a few moments when you get a couple of nice uppercuts and sort of close in sort of hooks. I believe later on, sort of in this round, was that a tactic or was that just kind of how it developed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very comfortable taking shots to my body. For some reason, I don't really feel body shots. I probably shouldn't be giving this away, but the weird thing is Matt was really targeting my body, and I've probably years of drinking beer has hardened up that area, but I don't feel them. So one tactic was to keep a high guard. If I'm ever feeling a bit of pressure, I felt that if I just keep a high guard, I'll be safe. And if he comes in, obviously to try and do a bit of close-up action. But everything I remembered, like bumping in, all these kind of tactics. And here you see I go down as well. So, this was, I felt fine here, but it was just more of a what happened kind of thing. I don't know if I tripped over there or if there's maybe more of a trip, possibly. Not sure.
So talk us through that, because I couldn't quite see on the video. Was it
Let's see if we go back. So I'm just going to go back to that moment. So it's probably around. Let's have a look. We just play it from here. Okay. So this is the first round, and Matt is, piling on pressure. I'm not throwing enough punches. I'm not, doing any close action very well.
No, but you've got your guard is up.
I felt pretty solid. I mean, I'm not
getting through occasionally, but
yeah, but I think it's
you're taking some punishment.
It was around here, yeah, not too much punishment. But Matt does have that reach advantage. He's getting his punches around, trying a bit of a weak hold around there. In the spur of the moment, it's all quite hard. And here this is it. Yeah, here he gets a couple in, and there you go. Yeah. He hits me. My footing goes a little bit. And
he's punching around your guard, isn't he?
He's punching around my guard. That was it. And I'm not punching back enough. So I feel fine here. The other thing I found is like I've done a lot of fitness training, and I've been doing 8 rounds of sparring. 2.5 minutes, and I feel fine. As soon as you get in the ring, because of the nerves, I've only done about 2 minutes there, and where's my energy? I'm used to doing 2 minutes of full contact, but my energy is just everything's a bit jaded. It feels like here, and I think that's the nerves of the first fight. But yeah, I mean, I go down there, so I mean, it's looking a bit rough at this moment, I guess, Gavin. Really.
Yes, I mean, I don't think that was a trip. I think it was a
hit to the head. Yeah,
knocked down to canvas.
Yeah.
But you didn't appear to be. And obviously the referee checks you out, talks to you, makes sure that you're responding and that you've got tension in your arms, all that kind of stuff. The previous fight, which I know we're not showing tonight, but there was a knockdown in that bout, and you could tell that he had been very rattled. Where I don't think this was the case. So you still looked in fairly good order, but then equally you had been knocked down. But then luckily it was at the end of the round there, so you've got a minute's rest, and then you're coming back down to the chess. So how are you feeling in terms of refocusing on the chess now for your first move after the boxing?
I'm not too bad. I mean, obviously, I'm thinking about the boxing quite a lot, and I'm thinking I didn't get my rhythm in the boxing. Time to sort of it's a really weird switch, as you say. It's time to switch off the boxing and get right into the game. This is the interesting thing. Around about here, they pressed the clock, and they had it the wrong way around. It was actually my move, so we had to alert just that it is my move here. And we're back into the chess, and luckily my position is okay, because you can see here I castle. And as soon as I castle, I'm like, okay, I'm safe. So I'm feeling pretty confident again now. My king's safe. I've got a very nice centre. I'm probably a little bit better now positionally. And
so for a layperson like me, are you looking at that centre and thinking, right, what I need to do is just truck those pawns down the centre of the board and start to put pressure, or what's your sort of strategy now? Now you've castled.
Well, basically, my strategy now is my pieces my bishops are quite nicely protected behind the pawns. My pawns can be quite mobile, so I can start using my pawns to kick my opponent's pieces away from the centre, and all of my pieces kind of have great potential. So Matthew's last move is quite clever, but you can see with my next move here, I start to mobilise those pawns. My pawn comes up, it attacks the queen, and this centre becomes like a moving object coming forwards. The other thing, obviously, which is very important, is time handling. You don't want to move too quickly, because I think in some of the other fights, the fighters were moving much too quickly, making silly mistakes. Because if you blunder, as we'll see later on, it could be over. But you also want to try and keep up on the clock. With this last move, I might have had a better move, but I'm basically just trying to simplify things a lot, because Matt still hasn't developed his knight and his rook. So I'm trying to force the issue by capturing and putting a bit of pressure on his position. So
when you say capturing, you're seeing that he hasn't developed his pieces, so the more pieces you can swap out, the bigger issue that becomes for him.
I'm trying to play a bit more forcing. So my last move, I'm threatening to take his rook, because I've got better development. I want to attack, basically. If my development was worse, it's like you have an army. If you've got more troops in the army mobilised, you want to use that advantage. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to use my extra pieces. All of my pieces look quite good. I've got this nice centre. And we're going to see shortly that when Matthew does something with this rook in the middle, my knight can also come into action as well. So it's just more like mobilising. It's quite funny that the camera certainly puts some pounds on as well, Gavin.
Of course, sorry. We need to get new cameras, Simon. Entirely.
Can you get one of those ones that makes you look thin? I mean, it's funny because I lost. I've been up 20 stone. I probably lost like 4 stone. But I am a 44-year-old chap who is trying to get it down, and you still a bit of work to do there. But now with this last move, Gavin, the knight comes in, and now I'm certainly taking over, because I create another threat. The knight is threatening Matthew's bishop, so he has to retreat again. So in the boxing, he's forcing me backwards, but in the chess, I'm forcing him backwards. And this was a big move. The queen threatens to capture his bishop. If I win the bishop, I should win the game. But there's also another very crafty idea behind this move. So understandably, Matt, who looks a bit upset here, he
does Matt think it's checkmate?
We haven't got to that point yet, because I think he forgets the point of my last move after the next round of boxing. But this round, so important. I think Matthew realizes that I'm taking over the chess, but he's better at the boxing. Matthew is an amateur boxer. He's 27 years old. He goes 4 or 5 times a week. He's obviously very good at holding the nerves as well, Gavin. So he's got to perform well in this round, and I think he certainly does now.
So let's talk about Matt in the chess as well. What level were you expecting? Do you think he? I was quite impressed, but then what do I know about chess?
I thought he'd be good. I was expecting at least 2,000. Maybe higher. You've always got to assume your opponent's going to play well. I wasn't going for any cheap tricks. I was just trying to play good chess, as the game developed, and he played well. Up to this point in the chess, he's kept it together very well. So he starts off very quickly here. So my tactic before the fight was to, obviously use the jab, but he has got a reach advantage on me. So I'm having to try and move a bit to get my jab in. But I was also, one thing I've noticed is he keeps his guard a bit low. And one thing I wasn't able to do was, get somebody's hooks in, get somebody's rights in. Again, he has this low guard, and that's what probably should be trying to do in the boxing, is maybe, even take a bit more risks and just try to get a couple in. But okay, we're exchanging some blows there.
Yeah, so I caught up with Matt after the bout, and and obviously I'll probably interview him for our podcast. But a couple of things that I think he started using his range better.
Yeah.
And the second round, he got a few jabs through your guard, straight through your guard. But also, I think, and I hope you don't mind me saying, because I think you alluded to it.
Yeah.
The first round of boxing, that he didn't feel that you were carrying enough of a threat to stop him opening up more. And I think that from the boxing, it looked like that is what happened. I think he was feeling it out in the first round, and then the second round, he felt that he had the confidence to actually lower his guard and actually open up his body a bit more and throw more punches.
I totally agree. I mean, I've broken my nose at this point. I mean, I think this is on a normal day. What I've been practicing, I certainly would be a threat to him, and I would love him to try and come at me again like this. The nerves, the moment. I'm not fighting my normal ability by any means whatsoever. I just also, if we just go back there, just quickly say what's happened here.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how painful is it to break your nose?
Oh, it's about 2, I think. It's not too bad. Okay. I've broken my nose like 6 or 7 times at least, and it's not too bad. The main thing I'm worried about is him stopping the fight. The problem I got there wasn't the nose breaking. It was more that he landed a shot which got my eye. And for a little bit, the glove had gone in my right eye, and my right eye was just a bit blurred. So that was more of a concern, that this just had irritated my eye a bit. So luckily they kept the fighting going. And
it's one of those things, though, isn't it? You have to keep your eyes open. I know it sounds obvious, but if you don't keep your eyes open, you can't see your opponent, even though your opponent is basically punching you in the eye quite a lot. So it's actually quite important you're able to do that, and occasionally you get grazed sort of.
You do, yeah. So I mean, it was breaking the nose, but it's also getting a glove to the eye, where you sort of lose the vision, and you need that at the moment. So I think it's fair to say that Matt saying I wasn't a threat in this fight is 100% true, because I wasn't throwing with any speed or conviction, which was most disappointing for me, because I obviously know I can do that by before, but when you're in the ring, it's a totally different matter. And I went really into a shell, which is a bit of a beginner's mistake of just guarding up. So all I'm thinking is
It's better than not guarding up, so I'm not saying that much.
I mean, all I was thinking is, I'm going to be fine if I guard up. His punches, they're okay, but they're not going to put me down again. I can survive a number of rounds by guarding up, and I will get an opportunity. So that was my thinking. That okay, as long as they don't stop the fight, 'cause my nose. But now we have a very interesting moment. So, I have had that thing where maybe the fight's going to be stopped. I have had the moment where my vision is sort of just getting, it is clearing up a little bit. And we're back to the chess. But now it gets very interesting. So remember my last move, I threatened his bishop. Now he moves his bishop, but he totally forgets about my other threat. My queen now comes down. And originally, I thought this was checkmate, because I remember threatening this before the boxing round. And I'm like, wow, I actually thought is this checkmate. I suddenly realised it's not.
I'm glad you thought that, because I thought that. I think everyone in the room thought that.
Yeah,
I think Matt thought it to start with.
He finds the only defence. He gives up his rook, and now the queen comes back. But I just want to say at this moment, really interesting moment. So so we had this moment, and I'll be honest, I wasn't really. I just thought I'd won the rook. Okay, it should be. I thought it was checkmate. I kind of relaxed a little bit, and I was thinking about the boxing again. He finds this defence where he gives up the thing, and my thinking was, okay, I want to try to win in the chess because of his time. It's 4 minutes of chess, so I've got to move quite quickly. And my thinking was, in order to win, I want to keep the queens on the board, because you have more tactical chances when the queen's on the board. If I was playing in a normal chess tournament, I'd swap the queens off immediately. So in a couple of moves, I move my queen without thinking. I just play and move quickly. And the move I play, which is just astounding, and let's have a look at it again. You can see the crowd. I move the queen, and here I move it without thinking, and I suddenly realise, shit, I've just lost my queen. So Matthew wins my queen, and now I've only got a rook and a knight for the queen. So the material is still actually about even on points. It's actually I'm 1 point down, but losing the queen like that, I'm like, right, okay, now I have to play quickly. I need to keep the pressure on. I need to sort this shit out. Basically, is all I'm thinking here, because I'm going to win a pawn.
So how much of that blunder would you attribute to the circumstances and the previous boxing round where you broke your nose?
Well, I certainly hope I wouldn't play blunders like that on a regular basis, because I shouldn't be a grandmaster or an international master or FM or anything if I'm doing that regularly. So a lot of it comes down to the pressure of the boxing. There's no doubt. I've broken my nose, not painful. The hit in the eye, getting used to that, being in the ring. I think in the just all that pressure has come to me, and it's got on the top of me. So it never happened without the boxing. The quality of the chess just goes down a lot. Blundering the queen. I never normally do that, Gavin. And around about here, but I'm actually equal on points, so my position is okay. And I'm just trying to now move a bit more instinctively, by pushing this pawn in the middle, trying to cause some problems with it, and I see that Matthew's clock is getting quite short. Just putting a little bit of pressure on his clock as well at this moment.
Yeah. So that time advantage, I guess the way it works is, a minute isn't a massive advantage when you've both got 7 minutes on a clock. But as you get closer to that 0-0, Matt's going to have to start to move a lot quicker. And I think later on you can see you're actively using that to bring things to a head, aren't you?
That's right.
Put pressure on him.
There's another key moment here. You can see I push my pawn in the middle, and this is a move that I'm sure Matthew, without the boxing, he was a better boxer, but it still takes it out of you if you are the better boxer. He would have been able to deal with his pawn, but he now makes a critical mistake. He brings his king up, and I immediately see that there's going to be a knight fork here. Now he must bring his queen now back to stop the pawn, but his next move is the most natural, and this allows me to queen my pawn. I could have also got a bishop. That would have been a nicer touch, actually. And he has to take my queen. And as soon as he takes my queen, and you can see from the reaction, my knight comes down with a nasty fork, and that leaves me a lot of material up. So again, I'm completely winning after this. So it just really now comes down to, Gavin, is there going to be another round of boxing or not? Because he's losing at the chess. There's no way he's going to survive the chess. I'm a rook and a knight up, I think, which is... even with a broken nose or two, I should be doing okay in that situation with a major time advantage. You look at the clock, I'm like 6 minutes up as well. So this is the question, just can I win before the next round? And in the end that does happen on the clock, but it would have been interesting to get another round of boxing, I have to say, because I think. A lot of people I spoke to would not expect me to survive another round of boxing. Matthew has been outboxing me. I would hope that I could certainly hold on and loosen up a little bit. So it would have been kind of nice to, if I'd have loosened up, I'd have been, I think, but I don't know. It would have been very interesting to see another round, Gavin.
Yeah, boxing. I mean, I think everyone wants to see chess boxing. Everyone wants to see another round, and I think even if you had that extra round, there wasn't really any time for him to unsettle you for the following round of chess, because there just wouldn't have been enough time. But it's a shame that, you could tell he's trying to move as quick as he can, but it's too late.
Yeah.
And he's run out of time. But I think I would have been confident you would survive that round, but you never know. And also, it's not just your boxing, is it? It's his boxing.
Yeah.
He could throw caution to the wind, and really, go for it and leave himself open just because he thinks, well, it's do or die, and that could be a different proposition potentially as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd realise he'd have to not, stop the fight in the next round. So it would have been very interesting, because he would have to come at me quite hard. And whether I'd be able to counter in the boxing is another question, because the way I was boxing, like I say, I was just too tight, and not open enough, and it's not really pleasant watching it back from my perspective, the boxing, because it's a bit disappointing in some ways, but all in all, it was my first fight, and it was some experience anyway. It's very hard to describe. I mean, I know you've had a couple of chess boxing fights, and I mean, how do you describe it to someone who hasn't done it? I mean, it's really bizarre. I mean, it's you jump out of an
it's
airplane.
hard. I mean, I not only have I done it myself, but I also have to deal with people that are doing it for the first time quite a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I've matched a lot of fights now,
Yeah.
and it's always the things that you picked up on, which is the nerves. Like once you start, weirdly, it seems better than thinking about it, and arriving at the venue early and having to manage those nerves, particularly without the usual crutches that some of us have, having a drink or whatever.
Yeah.
That was always something that people don't really appreciate until you do it. I think it's the interaction between the two elements of the sport. Sitting down and trying to make your first move after a boxing round, it isn't easy, and you can say that to people, but until you actually do it and you train it and you do it in a fight scenario, you can't really prepare fully for that. But also, there are positive things that you can't really appreciate, and it'd be interesting to get your kind of take on it. That first time you come out into the crowd and you've got loads of your friends there cheering you on, and they're playing your intro music. How did that feel, or compare to sort of a big chess tournament or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, the feeling after is amazing, and again, it's very hard to explain, because it probably goes win, lose, whatever the result, you've kind of got. I think if one of the important things to do in life is like facing fear, right? I mean, you have something which is hard to do, you do it, and the sense you get after it is really quite special, and it also means I can have a beer now, which I've been looking forward to for like weeks. So I think one of my friends, Lisa, hands me a beer in a minute, which I actually drink in the ring, which is quite nice. So that is just lovely, and it feels amazing. Had a nice chat with Matt, and that's the other thing about the boxing I found is like people may assume, if they have no understanding of boxing and maybe chess, that, well, especially boxing, is a bit of a thug sport, but I think it's that is completely the opposite. I think it teaches you that discipline, teaches you how to respect your opponent, as well as many different skills, and just the fact that I caught up with Matt afterwards and we shared a good couple of beers together, and was amazing. It's what you do in chess. You play your opponent often, and then you go and have a drink with them afterwards, and you discuss the battle together. So it's a very special bond, I think, you get there with that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something worth mentioning. It's it's a weird thing to describe it as, but boxing with somebody is quite intimate. I know obviously we use intimate to mean a lot of different things, but I mean you're completely in the moment and you're with that one person, and you're basically mirroring them, and you're trying to anticipate what they're doing, and it does create quite a strange relationship, bond, whatever you want to call it. And you do find a lot of the guys from our community that fight each other, they often won't want to fight again, because suddenly they have this kind of bromance that grows out of that shared experience, and it is not something that you can explain to people. It is quite a unique thing that I've certainly not experienced outside of boxing, but it's a very beautiful thing as well.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very. I think it is very similar in chess. I mean, boxing is the physical form where you got to be sharp. You got to be not sluggish like I was to perform best. You've got to be on top form, and you got to be with it. And the same as in chess. There's nothing really like chess or boxing. Like in chess, you make one mistake, and you should lose. Okay, I blundered my queen there. I was able to come back, but in a proper tournament, you have to be on point the whole time. And when I've played my friends in the past, it's like it's very hard to play them, but you kind of get toughened up to that, I think, as you play more and more, and you get more and more used to playing people you like and having to slaughter them, basically. So it sort of teaches you that. But for a first fight, yeah, it was quite an experience. I would like to do it against Matthew at some point. I think to try to put in a better show, and it'd be nice to give him the opportunity to get his belt back, because he is a better boxer. So I'd kind of like to show better boxing and give it another go. But it was interesting. Yeah, interesting experience.
Yeah. And I think it's worth saying as well that not everybody can get into a ring, and I appreciate, we're matching people of a similar standard, and we're trying to make sure that they're, neither fighter's out of depth, but it still takes a lot of guts to get in the ring, whoever you are. And it's been a real pleasure to be a small part of that journey for you, because I know that I think that side of it meant a lot to you, and like everybody, I'd like to fight again sometime, because I want to prove to myself that I can do it, because it's not like falling off a log. It's something you really have to commit to, and you have to steel yourself for it. And anyone who's prepared and able to do that, I think you've got to take your hat off to them. So well done, Simon, because you worked bloody hard, and you got the result you deserved, I think.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, it is a journey. Obviously, I've got a couple of websites I'll just very quickly show as well. I mean, first of all, your website. If anyone out there's watching this and you kind of think, I might want to give this a go, or at least come along for the training, you think, look at these guys, look how crap they were. I mean, this is normally how it starts, by the way. You watch it and you're like, and I think only real beginners actually think this, including myself. They watch the chess boxing and they think those guys were crap. They're not professionals, by the way. We're not, but they're like, I could do that, and they're like, and then they start going along to a local club, and then they realise, actually, hang on a minute, that is bloody hard, and it's a lot harder than it looks. But if you are interested in taking that first step, go and check out the chessboxing. It's Chessboxing Nation. So if you just Google Chessboxing Nation, you're getting some details. This is in the UK. There's probably other ones around the world, but this is a good starting point. And Gavin, you do run a chess boxing club in Islington and London, and I guess this is the way to, for people out there who might want to give it a go to get, in the UK at least, to get started.
Yeah, so details are on our website, but we have training sessions every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Islington Boxing Club. It's a very, very friendly crowd. You can come and you don't have to spar. You don't have any experience. You just want to see something or do something a bit different. You're very welcome, and we've got a really nice, friendly community there. And Islington Boxing Club, it's one of those places, Simon, I know you've been there, where you just think of the typical sort of spit and sawdust type boxing club, and that's what you get. It's a really fantastic space and a great community to be part of. So, yeah, you don't even need to book. Just come down and give it a go.
Yeah, well worth trying. Anyone out there who wants to challenge, for your fitness, like I say, you don't have to spar, you don't have to fight, but the exercise you do is the best exercise ever. And me, for one, Gavin, I got well out of shape, drinking, smoking, various other things, and just the training for this has sorted out my mind, my body somewhat, and I'm going to continue that more as a growing thing that has really changed my life. It's been brilliant. So that's something that I'm going to have forever. So I recommend anyone else who's had you don't have to have issues, but anything at all, it's a great way to improve your life. And I will mention just in this video a couple other things. I mean, I've been training, if you're looking in sort of the Putney area, Hammersmith area, for a gym. I know you came along, Gavin. There's a great gym there, State of Mind Fitness, and I really want to go and check this out. For me, this is like the best boxing gym, as well as Islington. It's a different part of London where you can train. It's very modern, and luckily I was put in contact with them through a friend of a friend who runs the club. He's an ex-Royal Marine boxer. He's coached some of the best boxers in Britain. Very friendly guy. He gives everyone a nickname as you go in there. It's a really, all standards there as well. It's sort of Hammersmith Putney way. But you came along to that club. Would you recommend it as well? I mean, you saw me actually spar, maybe to a better quality as well, right?
It's a beautiful space, actually. Like you think of, it's obviously got gym equipment in it, but it's a beautiful glass building on the river, with people spilling out into cafes. I mean,
It's great.
it's imagine Fulham boiled down to a gym. It is really like beautiful place to train. Definitely,
It's really,
I'd
really
recommend.
good. Yeah, I highly recommend. And Barry, the Royal Marine, runs it there, and you're a great place to start your journey if you're London based. But yeah, I mean, I know this video's now 40 minutes, so probably a good length to sort of come to an end. But is there anything else you'd like to ask, Gavin, or go over there? I mean, it was. I'll just say from my perspective, I was a bit upset about the boxing afterwards. I'll be honest. I know it's a win, and a win is a win, and I held in there. I'm always a bit critical. I mean, it's the best way to be, but I think it was quite a courageous effort, and there was no way easily I'd end up, being stopped in that fight. But it would have been nice to get a couple more punches in against a really worthy and very good boxer. And anyone who thinks it looks easy or is amateurish, then yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, is it, Gavin? So
No, it's not. And we did touch on it, but that's quite usual. It's so hard to maintain your training in that first bout. So I'm really pleased to hear that you consider doing it again. And I know that from experience, each time you do it, it gets easier because you know what to expect. I will also say that I do match a lot of people who are doing it for the first time, and it's always a bit nervous because I don't know how they're going to react to the training. Are they going to commit to it? Are they going to be tough enough mentally? And you really did prove to me and everybody else that you had all of those in spades, and it was so good to see you get into that ring and perform. And not only that, did you entertain everybody enormously. It was such a great night. So thank you, Simon.
well, thank you, Gavin, for putting on the event as well. And I know you do a lot of hard work behind the scenes. So it's a very exciting sport, and I just hope people watching this, you get into it. It's great fun, and you don't have to go to the extreme of getting your nose broken if you don't want to. You can do the other things as well. So yeah, thanks to everyone, and I guess I'll stop the video now. But what an experience, Gavin, and something I'll always remember as well. So
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Simon.
cheers, Gavin.